The sleepiness persists, but so do I. This is day 4 of the daily writing vlog, where I get up super early every morning and attempt to finish writing book 3 of a trilogy. But first I need caffeine in the form of coffee. Coffee's life. Sustenance. So yesterday, I made it fairly far. Well, not fairly far. I did a decent little chunk. I wrote, I think it was 1,200 words. A little over 1,200 words. And today, I'm hoping to replicate that. Get a little bit further. Go over a few more of my thoughts during the writing process. Give some little writing tippy tips. And we'll see how it goes. So our current word count, as of right now, is 23,496. I'll probably forget that and have to do the math in the post-process, the edit, but we'll see. That's where we're starting today. So let's go ahead and just start typing away. Like yesterday, I have the goal to start. Now, immediately, so sometimes this happens, and I say if this happens to you, just lean into it. This will be a moment of at least story advice. Sometimes, well, let me preface this. I outline very extensively to the point where sometimes, especially with the second book, the outline almost turns into a first draft on its own. That's how intensively I outline. Sometimes, when you get to the actual writing process of drafting your first manuscript for whatever book you're currently working on, even when you have an outline, you get to typing the story, you start fleshing things out, working along with characters, and something else, a better idea, comes to life as you're starting to wordsmith things. When that happens, just lean into it. It's okay to go a little bit against your outline, whatever you had prior. Now, this is coming from somebody who usually tries not to mess with the outline once it's done, because if I do that, I'll just end up way in left field. As soon as I start to veer off of my original outline, who knows where I'll end up, and then I'll end up 60,000 words in a completely different story and have to start over. So usually I try to avoid going too far off the course, but in the cases where it's like, I'm writing this scenario, the scene, and this just fits better, do that. Anyway, there's my little snippet of advice. Just make sure you always find a way to come back to your main goal. Keep your through line in mind. Now, because I can't help myself sometimes, this is more of an editing tip. But when you're going back to reread things, sometimes you have to pay attention to how many times you're using the same word. For instance, I use the word station 3 times in the same sentence. That's probably not going to sound great when you go back to read it. So just find a little way to adjust that. Maybe rename a few things, adjust how things are being said. Just clean that up a little bit so that way you don't have the same word over and over and over and over again. Maybe I'll also do a video on how to fix prose in a way that doesn't sound too repetitive, even if you're talking about the same thing multiple times within the same sentence. So, yeah, there you go. More for editing, less for drafting. But I couldn't, like I said, I saw it and I'm like, I gotta look at it. So I got a little typing in. I'm on a pretty good streak right now. But I think it's time for Colton's word of the day. And today's word is sagacious. The definition of sagacious is having or showing keen mental discernment and good judgment. Shrewd. They were sagacious enough to avoid any outright confrontation. I like this word. It's a lot like using the word wise or clever, and it just sounds neat. So yeah, there you go. Sagacious. Until next time. Back to the writing process. Hooey! And we're back. That was a nice little writing session. I didn't get a ton of words in, but I made some very interesting progress within the story itself. So I'm pretty happy with that, pretty content. Our final word count is 24,326. So I think that might be less than 1,000, or just right around the 1,000 word count. I don't remember where I started, but we're somewhere around there. So I'm going to go ahead and read you a little snippet, a little sample. I do have to be careful because I'm now getting to the point where I should probably do this less and less, just for spoilery sake. So I'm going to pick the most unspoilery part, and it's not very spoilery, but yeah, just to kind of give you an idea of what I wrote today, what I wrote this morning. Warm light played across her face, causing her eye to twitch, wince, then finally crack open. Sarah was back in her bed, laying on her side with the covers pulled up to her chin. The desert sun beamed into the open balcony, silken curtains thrown wide. Had it been a dream? She let out a groan as her aches woke up with her. No, not a dream. Most assuredly not a dream. Her knees felt raw as she sat up. There was still a slight dizziness in her vision. Stars, how she hated conduits. Rubbing sleep from her eyes and scrubbing a stale mouth with the back of her hand, Sarah dragged herself out of bed and walked out onto the balcony. She needed to think. The city below was awake and in full motion. Nixolith was the type of city that woke up with the sun. No time to waste when there was light in the sky. Thank you so much for joining me on this wonderful little writing session, this journey, day 4 of our writing vlog. If you're working on your own project, let me know how it's going in the comments below. If you're not, and you're just here to enjoy the process with me, thank you. And don't forget to subscribe, because it's going to help grow the channel. Hit the like button too, because you're awesome. And we'll see you tomorrow.